So I joined Center Helps because whenever I was in high school, I called the suicide hotline, like the old one that was like the number from like that Logic song, and I waited on hold for like a minute, and then the call dropped and no one picked up, and I was like, oh my god, like I can't even believe that could happen.
It's a lot of dealing with a lot of stuff that I've been through, like especially things with like suicide, self-harm, the things that people are, and like general mental illness that people are calling with are things that I've have some personal experience with, and also I'm just really fascinated by. Like I love psych so much. I think it's so interesting, and I've loved learning about like communication and that kind of stuff, and having the opportunity to do that was really cool. But it's just something I've always like been the therapist friend. I don't know. It means so much to me to like be the person that's there when someone needs something to, or someone to talk to, because I also am so passionate about accessibility, and the fact that this like free service exists I think is so cool, and it's a very big honor to be a part of that.
I wanted to like volunteer for the suicide hotline, but I thought like I needed a master's degree to do that, until like one day senior year I got an email from my advisor that like Center Helps was looking for volunteers, and I was like, no way. And it was just like this like total coincidence miracle thing, and I got accepted in the training class, and that's how it's been.
So the reason I joined Center Helps specifically was because it was like the end of my sophomore year of college, and I hadn't made any friends up here because of like COVID and other stuff, and then someone came into one of my psych classes and was like, you'll make friends, it's a nice community, and I was like, yes. So that's how I ended up there.
Training, some people think it's rough. I think it was really fun. Yeah, like, so twice a week we would have like training there, and it was like for 4 hours each time, and we just like learn like a bunch of different like active listening skills, communication skills, like de-escalation, how to like suicide intervention, stuff like that, and just like stuff about like different populations we'll be working with to like be like more like open and mindful about like the experiences that we'll hear about. But they would have, my favorite part of training was what was called role play nights, where we would have like simulated phone calls. And so like the current counselors would like talk to like the training class, and they would pretend to be callers and we would pretend to be counselors. And it was just like so fun.
Like we had like suicide night, which is where we learned how to do like suicide calls and that kind of stuff. And then we also like, I don't know if they still do it, but that used to be kind of a tradition where people would kind of like have like an open thing that like if they had personal experiences with suicide, either with like themselves or with people that they know, they could talk about it. I feel like that was a very bonding experience. Especially because like you spend that many hours with people and you start to know them a lot, and make friends through that, which is really cool.
The first day I sat like way super close to the projector, probably because I was late or something like that. And then I like was looking at the projector like the whole time. I was like, damn, my neck hurts so much. And so I moved back to the back of the class, which was also motivated because that's where Gianna was. And then just started talking, and I knew like from like the moment that I saw them in the group me that I was like, oh man, I was like, wow. And then we started talking, and I was like, I'm attracted to this person. We like would draw on each other's papers and stuff like that. I think the big part was we were on alternate shifts during like when we were actually like first started taking calls. Like you had the shift right before mine. I had the shift right after
and I
yours.
would save all my notes for the end, so I had a reason to stay for an extra hour.
I'd say like I'm in this more because like it is something where I like see myself more of like I'm helping, I'm like also getting something like beneficial out of this. Like this is a way I feel like I can like give back. So it often doesn't like feel super painful or like feel super detrimental, but like the times that it does, I just like lean on my supports who I have in like my personal life, like my partner or my therapist or my friends or just like people like that, and like we kind of talk about it and like the details that we can, and I just like try to process what's going on.
I feel like I don't realize how much of it I like carry with me until I look back on it. Like I've had like times where I've had overnights and I've like come downstairs and been like, I just had the worst 12 hours of my life, and I had like a 3-hour call that I couldn't get to end, and I got masturbated to, and I like and all this other stuff that like really like, and then I leave and I'm like, and anyways and then you don't realize it, I don't think, while it's happening, because I think your brain kind of goes into like, this is what we need to do now mode, and it doesn't give a lot of time to process. Like I had a suicide call recently that went for like 2.5 hours, and it just was really hard to get anywhere. And I came home and I was like, that sucked, but like it's fine. And then by the time I went back next week, I was like physically shaking as soon as I walked in the building, and was like scared that the same person was gonna call back. So there's definitely a mental toll to it, but at the same time it's kind of easy to block out, since it feels so like this is what happens in this building.
I can like leave most of that stuff like at shift or something like that, but like every once in a while like I'll have like a very like impactful like experience, and it'll like kind of like weigh on me, or like it'll like almost hit me with like something that I'm also going through, which is like really interesting to like have a call and you're talking to someone and they're just telling you all about like their problem, and you're like, damn, I've dealt with that too, but like you don't say that. And I love those kind of calls. So more I feel like it's more of like a restorative thing for me, but yeah, some of the calls are pretty rough.
I don't think you can do crisis work forever. I think it takes a really specific person to be able to do that forever. I'm right at 3 years, and I think that's my max. So yeah, it's hard to not have it have some sort of effect.